The beautiful blue sky stretches to eternity. It soothes and fills people with happiness. And today, as always, there are people whose duty is to fly through these blue skies in which our planet is cradled. They are members of the Japan Air Self-Defense Force. They have one mission: to protect the skies above Japan. The skies have no visible borders. However, a nation has exclusive sovereignty over airspace above territorial land and waters under international law. This airspace stretches a mere 12 nautical miles from territorial land, or in other words, it is half the distance of a marathon, covered in less than a minute and a half by a modern jet plane. To ensure the protection of territorial land, nations have Air Defense Identification Zones, or ADIZ. In the event of an unknown aircraft of unidentified nationality with no filed flight plan entering this airspace, the JSDF immediately implements anti-flight-over measures. The largeness of Japan's ADIZ becomes apparent when it is superimposed onto Europe. It covers an extensive area stretching from Portugal to Poland, which is protected solely by the JSDF. Surveillance is most important in protecting the airspace over Japan, which can be intruded on in a very short time. Radar sites have been set up by the JSDF at 28 locations throughout the country to constantly monitor Japan and its surrounding airspace, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. JFPS-5, also known as Gamera radar, is not only capable of detecting conventional aircraft and cruise missiles, it can also detect and track ballistic missiles. The JSDF uses fixed air defense radars like this, as well as the Airborne Early Warning E-2C and E-767 AWACS, which can operate over the open ocean. Mobile Aircraft Control and Warning Squadrons and Mobile Communication Squadrons can operate as radar platforms from anywhere as strategies require. They are like the eyes of a person. The Japan Aerospace Defense Ground Environment System, or JADG, then functions like the central nervous system, conveying this information to each Air Defense Force and the Air Defense Command. The detected aircraft is identified instantaneously, and information is centralized. This enables the scrambling of fighter jets and the forming of a multi-layered system of defense against ballistic missiles in collaboration with the ground and maritime self-defense forces.
国防の最前線で勤務しておりますので、常に緊張感を持って仕事をしています。
Surveillance is being carried out, even at this very moment. Today, the security environment surrounding our nation is growing in tension. The number of times fighter jets have been scrambled in response to violations of territorial airspace by aircraft of unidentified nationality has almost tripled over the last 10 years. This is Naha Air Base. Fighters were scrambled around twice a day on average in 2015. This is far in excess of any other air base in the country. To bolster our defense system in the southwestern region, the number of fighters was doubled from 1 squadron to 2 in January 2016, leading to the realignment of the 9th Air Wing. It is the first time in 51 years that a new air wing has been established. Fighters that are scrambled waste no time in rushing to the unknown aircraft. They then use their radios and wings to send warning signals. If the warnings are ignored and the aircraft continues to approach land, warning shots are fired from a machine gun, and the aircraft may be forced to land, depending on the situation. If the fighters are fired at, they will engage in defensive combat. A name is written below the cockpit of each F-15 fighter jet. These are not the names of pilots. They are the names of the aircraft maintenance crew chief responsible for maintaining the aircraft. Pilots fly in different fighters, but the maintenance of each aircraft is carried out by the same mechanic.
自分の機体ですので、何かあれば全て私に責任が来ますので、自分の子供を育てるというような感覚で責任を持って見ています。
They are also propped up by the support of many other members, including those involved in maintenance, weapons and ammunition, refueling, firefighting, and flight control.
やはり一人では絶対飛ばせないものなので、クルー全員でやってるような形ですね。地上にいる時から、感謝の気持ちと、あとは絶対その飛行機を持って帰ってくるというところを、意識してやってます。
The fighters fly daily, propped up by the dedication of all those involved. Aircraft are not the only things that threaten the skies over Japan. The biggest threat we face today comes from ballistic missiles. The JSDF has surface-to-air missiles to counter these ballistic missiles. The Joint Task Force Ballistic Missile Defense System, or BMD, is deployed by the JSDF to defend Japan against ballistic missiles. A Joint Task Force BMD is set up with the commander of the Air Defense Command in control, and the ballistic missile is tracked through JADGE. Should the ballistic missile enter our airspace, an SM-3 is launched immediately from the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force's Aegis destroyer to intercept it outside the Earth's atmosphere. If this fails, the ballistic missile will re-enter the atmosphere above our territorial airspace. Should this happen, our last line of defense is the Patriot missile. Ballistic missiles are shot down from the ground. The Patriot offers a mobile system but the launchers cannot be operated independently. The Patriot system is made up of around 10 components, including an engagement control station, a radar set, the antenna mast group, the communication relay group, and a power plant. Squadrons called fire units operate the Patriot system. The members do not have fixed positions and are trained daily in carrying out all the operations to make sure they are capable of fulfilling their duties, even in the absence of some members. Members of the Air Defense Missile Group are dispatched to the U.S. once a year to train in live firing of Patriot missiles, which is prohibited in Japan. The Air Defense Missile Group is being deployed with increasing frequency every year.
普段もちろん訓練でも緊張して一生懸命訓練はするんですけど、実動っていうのはもう失敗はできない任務なので、やっぱり緊張感はありますね。
They are prepared for missions at all times. The C-1 is a domestically produced transport aircraft equipped with turbofan engines. It can be loaded simultaneously with personnel and cargo, such as vehicles, providing fast transport. The KC-767 is capable of transporting people and cargo, and it also serves as an aerial refueling aircraft. It contributes to the massive extending of the flight time and range of fighters. The CH-47J is a helicopter used to transport necessary equipment to radar sites scattered throughout the country. It can also transport people and supplies to disaster-stricken areas in emergencies. The government aircraft of Japan, the Boeing 747, is managed by the JSDF. It is used to transport not only the imperial family, but also Japanese nationals abroad. The C-130H in particular has more than twice the range of the C-1, with outstanding load capacity.
Pilot.
Pilot, starting edge checks.
Clear number 3 engine.
Kenny 3022, temperature 8.
Taxi to holding point Whiskey 6. Kenny 3022, camera 79er.
The C-130H is an outstanding transport aircraft, capable of handling all kinds of operations. In international disaster relief activities in Pakistan after flooding, it was used to transport the UH-1 helicopters of the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force. In activities in the Philippines after typhoon damage, it was used to transport emergency supplies to disaster-stricken areas and transport victims to safe locations. It is also used to transport the Ground Self-Defense Force's only paratroop unit, the 1st Airborne Brigade. In combination with the Aero Medical Evacuation Unit, it can transport patients in critical condition over long distances that cannot be covered by helicopter ambulances. Moreover, the KC-130H, converted from the C-130H, is capable of aerial refueling of the rescue helicopter UH-60J.
輸送機はクルーで一つの任務を行いながらいろんなところに行っていろんな経由地を経験できていろんな任務を経験できるっていうのはすごく魅力だなと思います。
Transport aircraft are not equipped with weapons. The only way they can protect themselves is through self-defense equipment. The release of flares and so on enables the avoidance of guided missiles by distracting them. Transport aircraft will continue evolving into the future to allow the transport of more cargo for more purposes over longer distances. The JSDF provides protection for the entire country of Japan, while also protecting the lives of individual people. The JSDF Air Rescue Squadron is the specialist in this field. Natural disasters, climbing accidents, major accidents, and so on may strike any time at any location. The Air Rescue Squadron engages in operations under extreme conditions. Then there was the Great East Japan Earthquake, which struck on March 11th, 2011.
まあ、学校でのミッションですか。屋上に航空機を下ろして着陸させて、でそこから子供とか大人とかを救出していくというような任務だったんです。屋根の上でタオルで、救出を待ってるというのを見えてたので、まあ、それを目標に行って救出に向かうっていう感じで、屋根のこのベランダがちょっと中に入ってる状態、そこからこうホイスで入っていって、そこから何回もこう救出していくような。
Within the Air Rescue Squadron are men who work on the front lines of rescue operations, providing direct help to accident and disaster victims. They are the medics.
Continue taxi and... 了解、準備よし。
On this day, a young buddy lost one of his fins during training when he landed in the water. The older buddy gave him his own fin without hesitation. He continued swimming with only one fin. Medics are not only required to be physically fit, but they must also have the ability to remain calm under all circumstances to make appropriate decisions. Only those who pass the most grueling tests within the ground, maritime, and air self-defense forces are able to become medics.
人が目の前にいたならば必ず救出するっていうことですか。これは仕事だけじゃなく交通事故とかそういう起きた時でもすぐに救出をするっていう、一生救出していきたいなとは思ってます。
To medics, rescuing people is the meaning of life itself. Joint exercises with other countries are also important for the JSDF in its global activities. COPE North Guam is a joint exercise held every year. It began in 1978 as a joint exercise between Japan and the US, and it has continued for around 40 years. Today it has been joined by Australia, and it has grown into a joint exercise that aims to achieve stability in the Pacific region. Units and teams hold meticulous briefing sessions. In an age when a single country cannot ensure its own peace and stability by itself, these joint exercises are highly meaningful. Joint exercises, particularly with the US, which is an allied power, deepen mutual understanding between Japanese and US units. This is indispensable in implementing concerted operations in anticipated situations. COPE North Guam also provides valuable experience in firing live ammunition, which is not permitted in Japan. The Air Defense Command Headquarters plans and runs these U.S.-Japan joint exercises, such as COPE North Guam. It oversees the commanding of everything from the fighter units to the anti-aircraft units. The Air Defense Command Headquarters was moved to Yokota in 2012 to further deepen cooperation with the U.S. military.
And that'll be here. Yeah, plane will be here.
年々いろんな技術だとかいろんな戦術だとかが発展していく中で他国とやること自体が普通になっていく。要は豪軍だろうが米軍だろうが一緒にブリーフィングをして一緒の作戦をやって一緒の成果を得るっていうこと自体がこれは普通のことだよと。コープノスガームで何か特別なことをやってるように感じてるかもしれませんけど、いや違うと。これはもう普通にできることだと。もっと次に行こうと。そういうふうになってほしいですね。
Training and preparation for the future has already begun. the security environment surrounding our nation today is growing in tension. The JASDF is handling a variety of missions and preparing for a variety of scenarios through hard training. And even at this very moment, it continues to execute missions, including surveillance and scrambles. Here and into the future, the JASDF has all but one mission: to protect the skies above Japan.